Good evening. There are calls tonight urging Ontario Premier Doug Ford to denounce a resolution that was adopted earlier today at the Ontario PC Convention. It calls for the end of gender identity at schools across the province. Now, this comes just a couple of months after the province scrapped the modernized sex ed curriculum, saying it needed time to review it. Media weren't allowed inside for much of the weekend-long PC convention, but a source provided this image to CityNews, showing Resolution R4 titled Education and Community Safety on a Monitor inside the Toronto Congress Centre in Etobicoke. It reads, "Be it resolved that an Ontario PC party recognizes, quote, gender identity theory for what it is, namely a highly controversial, unscientific, quote, liberal ideology, and as such that an Ontario PC government will remove the teachings and promotion of, quote, gender identity theory from Ontario schools and its curriculum." These policy resolutions aren't binding and dictating government policy in any shape or form, a PC source tells CityNews. The resolution was proposed by Tanya Granick-Allen, a former Ontario Progressive Conservative candidate who was removed by the party after the release of a controversial video showed her making a series of offensive comments, including about gay marriage. As the Ford government is currently undertaking a consultation of the current sex ed curriculum following their decision to repeal the Liberal version, the education critic for the NDP says this conversation being allowed today is telling of the direction the PC government will go in.
I think it says that a lot of social conservatives and particularly people who have a problem with LGBTQ people are still very much a powerful force in this party, and that's very concerning to me, and that they have a lot of influence. I think the debate around the LGBTQ community was particularly offensive and dangerous. I was thinking today about if you were the parent of an LGBTQ kid, the idea that this government, this party, is here debating your very right, your child's very right to exist, is got to be really scary today for a lot of people.
The Ontario PC party didn't provide an interview today, but a government spokesperson says this resolution wasn't voted on as whether or not it should be party policy, but whether or not they should have this conversation at the next convention next year. And an official statement from a party spokesperson reads entirely, quote, "We are excited to have nearly 2,000 dedicated and passionate Conservatives together this weekend. Our party is strong, united, and we encourage all members to bring forward their personal ideas. We have a plan for the people, and we will deliver that plan. There will be many more years of promises made, promises kept."
I think that the Premier needs to come out immediately and denounce these policy resolutions right now, whether or not he considers them to be formally endorsed or not by the party.
And ahead on City News, reaction from right here, the church in Wellesley community, a longtime LGBTQ activist on why this resolution is alarming but not surprising. We are live in the church in Wellesley community tonight, speaking to advocates about a resolution that was passed at the Ontario PC Convention. It calls for the removal of all gender identity from all schools in the province. Now, the 519 here, an LGBTQ hub, advocacy hub, releasing a statement earlier today saying the resolution is, quote, an attack on all the rights and freedoms of queer and trans people. A source provided this image to CityNews showing Resolution R4 titled Education and Community Safety on a Monitor inside the Toronto Congress Centre in Etobicoke. It reads, "Be it resolved that an Ontario PC party recognizes, quote, gender identity theory for what it is, namely a highly controversial, unscientific, quote, liberal ideology, and as such that an Ontario PC government will remove the teaching and promotion of, quote, gender identity theory from Ontario schools and its curriculum." These policy resolutions aren't binding and dictating government policy in any shape or form, a PC source tells CityNews.
I'm afraid, I wish I could say I was surprised. Unfortunately, I'm not. That said, it's something we should be alarmed about. This is very disturbing, the way it's been framed, and the kind of bigotry it displays is something we should all be concerned about.
What do you think about the government spokesperson saying this isn't something that's voted on, but it's something that they want to have a conversation about?
No, well, this is no way to start a conversation. Putting it out on Twitter and putting it out into the universe, it's been said, it cannot be unsaid, and you have to take a position against it. Either you are in favor of this kind of bigotry or are you against it. There is no middle ground.
How do you respond to something like this?
Well, we push back with facts. The fact of the matter is that gender identity is not new, nor is it controversial. The only thing that's controversial are people's extreme reactions to it. Just respond with facts. Gender identity is an identity that's existed since time immemorial. It's not theoretical, and personhood is not something that should be kept in inverted commas, in quotation marks.
How do you think this adds to the sex ed curriculum conversation?
Again, I'm a parent and my kids are out of school now, but I wanted to make sure that I gave them the facts of life, not the beliefs of life. I wanted them to be best prepared for the world around them, and that means having an educational system that is based on facts. The fact is that kids that are better informed about sexual identity, about sexual hygiene, are better capable of keeping themselves safe in the world.
And I did ask the government spokesperson when they're planning on having a conversation about this resolution. Was told no time or date has been set for this yet.